Marked for Deletion, a comedy by Rex McGregor. The setting is a workroom in a public library.
You're here.
I said I come.
After 4 emails.
I take hard look before I take hard leap.
You still sound rather non-committal.
No, this is worth shot. I'm totally committable.
Maybe we both are.
I say something unidiomatic.
Committal means crazy.
Sometimes one must draw a line in sand, even if counterproductive to career prospects, huh?
Oh, Sasha.
There are no management jobs to apply for anyway.
Teach me why you'd want one. Isn't being team leader stressful enough?
I'd sooner lose sleep on manager salary.
I'm a model employee for top. I've studied ambitious.
You can afford to, Mel. You aren't single parent with mouths to feed.
These, I feel like one, protecting my team.
I have Team Plus kids. I deserve CEO's pay.
I just wish I could get back to leading my team instead of fighting for their survival.
Terrific. Let me know the moment it's confirmed. Bye. Morning. Morning.
Avery?
Wow, someone's been busy.
You know Mel.
We only asked for a short list of names.
It's supporting documentation.
Didn't have to go to all that trouble.
Now, I believe it's important for senior managers to view the whole picture.
Implying they don't already?
Mel, let's not get off on wrong foot.
What is all this?
And I have scrutinized our staff members, and we've reached the same conclusion. There's absolutely no way we can make any cuts.
Without compromising service standards.
I see.
Do you?
I see you've been wasting your time. Our time.
Like all good librarians, we're customer focused.
For this particular exercise, I'm afraid customers are out of scope.
That's bullshit, Avery.
Don't get me wrong. On a personal level, I admire your gutsiness. Standing up for your team members, first rate. Unfortunately, the order of the day is retrenchment.
We suffered grueling reviews 6 months ago.
Before you arrived, Avery.
I'm well aware of that.
My acquisition staff implemented efficiencies, began outsourcing shelf-ready items.
A disaster. Every week, my catalogers have to correct tons of errors.
There is learning curve.
Everyone learns from their mistakes, including senior managers.
Now who's being subversive?
They concede the last review could have been handled better.
Blow me down.
This time they want to avoid any
Hospitalizations?
Expenses of any kind.
Are they ruling out forced redundancies?
Well, that's never a preferred option.
So, what's the plan?
After identifying dispensable positions, we offer the incumbents employment elsewhere.
Where exactly?
Nothing's set in stone, but parks are short of grounds workers.
Guess who I'd like to set in stone?
Some people enjoy the outdoors.
And others loathe dirty work.
We're not doing yours for you, Avery.
You've both made that abundantly clear.
I hope you have a plan B.
Excuse me. Avery here. Wonderful. And I'm at liberty to... Thanks, Jordan. Will do. Bye.
Good news?
Tracy's retiring. I've been promoted to top dog.
Aren't they obliged to advertise?
Not in the current climate. Anyone whose job's disestablished gets first dibs.
Is yours in for the chop?
Part of Plan B.
Like you should have said. We'd have stood up for you.
And ruined by chance. No one else at my level's in the same boat, so I've been appointed automatically.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Sasha. You're a good sport. I suspect you had your eye on this.
Pity we couldn't compete in their fight.
I'm one tier above you. That simple fact makes you ineligible.
Plus, I'm not in firing line.
Well, as for that, look, you've both worked wonders lately, honed your teams into high functioning operations. They're virtually self managing now. So
That.
our 3 roles are being restructured into one.
Glorified team leader
No, it's a management role,
with manager's salary.
of course.
But 3 times the work.
You may want to modify that attitude for your interview.
Same old story. Throw us overboard and watch us slug it out.
There's no other option. You two are equally qualified.
Process is fair, Mel.
They're putting us at each other's throats.
We can be civilized. May best candidate win.
What happens to the loser, Avery?
I believe I mentioned Parks.
They say gardeners have low stress.
Stirs.
They provide gloves.
What if I go back to being a plain cataloger? I wouldn't mind.
Are there any vacancies on your team?
Oh, there's plenty of work to be done. We need someone for quality control.
The new technical services manager might disagree. There will be expectations of cost cutting.
How much?
Significant.
There are ways to save money besides slashing staff.
Such as?
Improve interlibrary cooperation. Spread the load of original cataloging. Ensure we're compensated for doing more than our fair share.
Interesting ideas, Mel. Are you back in the running for manager?
Hold on. Say a member of my team goes on maternity leave. I could fill in for her.
Is someone expecting?
It can be arranged. My catalogers are extremely loyal.
If anyone takes a leave of absence, we won't replace them.
Isn't that a decision for the new tech services manager?
Over to you, Sasha.
All downside strategies, attrition is least painful.
What if my whole team gets knocked up? Where will you be then?
Aren't most of them on the mature side?
Never underestimate the power of medical science and a pack of angry catalogers.
Bring on the miracle. We'd save a bundle not having to pay a cent on parental leave.
Lucky we're not in Russia. Expectant mother gets full salary for 20 weeks, 40% for a year and a half. Plus, she can stay home 3 years without losing job.
What a nightmare.
God bless America.
Land of the free ride for business.
Guys, the mass pregnancy thing was a joke.
We know, but managers are encouraged to dream big.
My point was, the library can't survive without catalogers.
That's a matter of opinion. What's your view, Sasha?
In-house cataloging is luxury, not essential.
Kidding.
If up to me, I outsource all bibliographic records.
With tons of errors?
You should learn forgiveness, Mel.
Weren't you the one advocating high standards a few minutes ago?
That was before I embraced my destiny as cost-cutting champion.
Now you're talking.
I will propose we disestablish your new job, Avery, and mine too, combine into one senior management role. No ring fencing this time.
You're getting above yourself.
Thank you. Is my constant endeavor.
Enough's enough.
Don't give up so easy. I look forward to civilized fight. May best candidate win.
Stop you in your tracks. I'm applying for tech services manager after all. And with Avery interviewing, I imagine I stand a pretty good chance.
Would you be happier as cataloger? I make exception for you, quality control champ.
You know my favorite part of cataloging? Classification. Putting things in their place. Can't wait to put you in yours.
Welcome on board, Mel.
Mm. Oh, enjoy parks, Sasha. I'm sure your cutting skills will come in handy.
Boy, I wouldn't want to work in that office.
Pretty vicious.
It's a jungle out there.
Libraries are a jungle, absolutely.
Nineteenth century, a village in England. Sir Charles's estate manager Bernard has summoned Dorothea, the housekeeper, to his office. Bernard is not happy with her.
How long does it take to polish a silver tray, then? You made me wait almost 3 minutes.
I thought I was early. Never mind. I was carefully polishing an oval silver tray and the tea set. And
I suggest you control your tongue and listen very carefully to what I have to say.
is this another complaint? I wasn't slow this time.
Sir Charles likes to have everything in order within this manor. It is my responsibility to make sure that this household is running impeccably.
I know. You made that very clear to me the day I arrived here.
I'm pleased that you remember.
Ugh.
However,
Just so you're aware, I've finished polishing the silver tray. I cleaned the handles twice this time, and now I've moved on to the crescent cutlery. I probably won't take that.
I did not ask, therefore I do not care. Do you have any idea why you've been summoned to my office, Dorothea?
Because you want to impress Sir Charles.
I am the estate manager.
They warned me about you.
I beg your pardon.
Ever since the others told me about your cold and rude mannerisms, I've been quietly preparing.
You listen to stupid people. I hadn't realized you were so easily led. So what have you been preparing yourself for exactly?
I'll have you know that I do not and will not compromise on my dignity.
I see that working in this manner has already gone to your head.
And I've been admiring your big head since I arrived at the manor.
Oh, how I painfully tolerate this prickly talk from a subordinate. With that brazen look. You really shouldn't be here. But I can't stop.
Can't stop what?
The point is, I only report to Sir Charles. I do not care what other staff members think of me. I never have. I suggest we focus on the reason of why you are here. Please note, if you utter another word against me, I will ensure that you're demoted. Is that clear?
Well, I didn't say that you were cold or rude. They did.
Your behavior is rather distressing, Dorothea. I didn't expect this from you. We chose you over so many other potential housekeepers, and today you stand here risking your position? It's very dim-witted of you.
I do not wish to distress Sir Charles. I apologize. Can I go now? I have a lot to do.
There has been a theft. 3 Wedgwood plates have vanished into thin air. You were the last person who handled them. So where are they?
Dear Lord, oh, that's terrible.
I have checked with the other staff members, and they believe it is you.
I had nothing to do with it.
Perhaps you have a secret plan?
I am not a thief.
So, where are those plates then?
Well, after polishing them, I carefully put them back inside the red lacquered cabinet in the dining room, and then I went off to clean the billiards room.
Anyone see you put them back?
Mary was with me for a while, but then she had to go and clean the new bookcase. I was on my own when I finished polishing the last plate.
Those plates are worth a small fortune.
Really? How much are they?
Why do you want to know?
Because you just said they're worth a small fortune.
And what are you planning to do with the money?
I wasn't planning to do anything.
Perhaps there's an accomplice guiding you so you can steal from the manor and then suddenly disappear without a trace?
No, I would never dream of doing such a thing.
So, are you saying this theft wasn't the main purpose of applying for this position?
No. If you must know, the main purpose of applying for this position was to send my 4-year-old boy to the local school. I had to leave him with my parents so I could come and work here in the manor. It broke my heart, but I had no choice.
Oh, why didn't you tell me you had a son?
I'm surprised that you're shocked by this.
Oh, that changes everything.
I wasn't allowed to finish school because my parents were so poor. I would look out the window with tears rolling down my eyes, my cheeks, because I had to watch others go to school while I had to work long hours. Thankfully, my very kind teacher discreetly dropped off some old texts for me to read at home. I was so relieved. It gave me so much hope during my darkest hour.
So that means you have a husband?
Unfortunately, my husband is ill right now.
Oh?
I don't want to talk about it. Bernard, despite the fact that we are penniless, I never, ever dreamed of stealing anything from anywhere. I swear, on my son's life.
Because deep down, I am a kind and considerate person. I'm going to give you another chance.
I don't need another chance, because I've already told you the truth.
Sir Charles always emphasizes that any issues concerning staff members is dealt with very quietly and quickly.
So, who told you that I'd stolen the plates?
I'm not at liberty to share this information.
Yeah, but you're at liberty to ruin my reputation.
I hadn't realized it was going to get so complicated.
So the person who gave you my name is the thief. And now, as I have resolved the matter for you, I would very much like to get back to my work.
Dorothea, it's not as simple as that.
So I'm a prisoner here until I can prove my innocence? Is that it?
I have all day for you.
I beg your pardon?
I was actually referring to the theft.
Bernard, is this whole situation to punish me because I accidentally saw you disable the bolt on my bedroom door. Yesterday, you thought I was still helping out in the kitchen, when in fact, I'd finished my duties early.
I was not disabling the bolt. I was putting it right.
But isn't that the caretaker's job?
I had to see one of the head gardeners about the east wing lawn. I was on my way out and I noticed your door was ajar.
It wasn't ajar. You deliberately entered my room without my permission. Why?
I don't need anyone's permission to enter a room within this manner. Well, that bolt was sticking out, so I decided to take a look at it. That is all.
And I see that you have some swelling on your right hand. Shame I pushed the chair very hard against the door when you were trying to get into my room 2 o'clock this morning.
I will not tolerate such rudeness. Besides, how can you be so sure?
Bernard, I am a very patient person, but one day I will tell everyone what you tried to do to me.
I honestly do not know what you're talking about.
Oh, you're all the same. Just because you think you have the power and authority to push people around and treat them like dirt, you think you can get away with it. That's disgusting behavior for an estate manager. You treat other staff members like this.
But this is none of your business. Please hold your tongue. Before you say something you'll regret.
Suddenly, we're not talking about the plates anymore. Isn't that odd?
Please stand back. I'm finding it rather uncomfortable.
What's inside that box behind you, Bernard? Could I have a look?
Oh, dear God, no! You will not move an inch, Dorothea.
So, you're the thief.
You can't prove any of this.
Of course not. It's your word against mine. And as I desperately need this job, may I propose a revolutionary suggestion?
What is it?
Please hand the Wedgwood plates to me and I will put them back in the red cabinet. By doing so, it will end this pointless meeting and allow me to get on with my busy day.
I will only agree to it if you swear not to mention this to anyone within the manor.
Thank you, Bernard. And as I plan to remain here for as long as I'm physically able, I would be indebted to you if I could have an additional £2 raise for the year.
Another £2? That is awfully selfish of you.
I noticed how you stare at me with those cold eyes. I do not deserve to be treated in this way.
Is that all you see? Cold eyes? That is most frustrating and disheartening.
Frustrating? Disheartening? Why are you saying that?
Why do you act as if you don't know?
No, what? Other than my duties here, I'm not aware of anything else.
I am so fatigued by this. As I'm behind on my inventories. I must get on.
Do you want me to help you? Is that it?
No, thank you. Like I said, I'm behind on my inventories. Please get back to work and pretend nothing ever happened between us.
What? I'm so confused by all this.
Please take the plates and put them back inside the red cabinet. And I repeat, you will not breathe a word of this to anyone else. Is that clear?
Bernard, what is clear is that you have a serious problem with me, and I don't understand why. I am a very determined and diligent housekeeper.
I know, but Dorothea, sometimes people make mistakes. I forgive you. I will do my best to forget, but only with a good distraction.
Forgive me.
I don't have cold eyes. The moment you arrived here at the manor, everything changed. For me.
I'll clean and polish the plates very carefully before I put them back.
When will you get it, Dorothea? When will you get it?
Dorothea exits with the plates. Bernard looks away with despair. End of play.
Oh, poor Bernard.
He didn't get it.
Aw.
Didn't.
Oh, it was so great.
Paul's either stealing something or he's trying to bump off a passenger.
Interior automobile, day. Jed 45 male sits in the driver's seat. His hands fidget on the steering wheel. He looks over to Stu 44 male sitting in the passenger seat. He slumps back in his seat and slaps the steering wheel.
Look at this line.
Uh-huh.
Why are we here?
Because you wanted to get out as bad as I did.
Out, yes. But we're not out. We're in the car.
But not in the house.
I thought we were going to go to a restaurant.
It's a restaurant.
It's a Burger King.
I thought you liked Burger King.
Well, I do, but I wanted to go to a sit-down.
We are.
No, don't say it. This doesn't count.
Wasn't it really just about getting out? I mean, we've been cooped up inside for over a year now. And I don't know about you, but I just needed a change of scenery.
This friggin' line, look, it goes back 3 blocks.
Yes, but that's behind us. Focus on the future.
Future? This is our future. Waiting for the future. When does it happen?
Looks like about 6 more cars.
Well, that red Prius has been at the friggin' speaker for about 20 minutes already. Come on. Just order a friggin' burger, will you?
All this tension. You really needed to get out.
We are not out.
Calm down. Look, the Prius has made a decision. Only 5 more cars to go.
The next one's a van. It's probably a bunch of indecisive kids and one frazzled mother screaming her head off. This is going to take forever. Oh, why, there's a jerk on my bumper. We couldn't get out of this line even if we wanted to.
I've never seen you like this. What's getting into you?
Well, you've never seen me in a drive-up.
What? What? Wait. No, that's crazy. You're right. That's crazy. We've never been to a drive-through before. It's true, isn't it? Well?
Well? What?
Why haven't we ever been to a drive-through?
Why, I hate drive-throughs.
What?
I hate them. Can't stand the process, a muffled voice, never knowing if you heard them correctly or they heard you. Did they get the order wrong? Did they forget the napkins? Or the ketchup?
It's fast food. You order, you eat.
I want to walk in and talk to a real person.
But you talk to a person. You get your food from a real person, all while sitting down.
How do you know it's a real person? Have you heard the voice that comes out of that box?
Of course it's a real person. Move up.
What?
Move up. 2 more cars have gone through.
Jed grabs the steering wheel, then sits motionless.
Look, another car's left. We're holding up the line. Let's go. Go.
Okay, okay.
Jed slowly moves the car forward.
Just order a burger, Coke, and we eat.
Yeah. You get to eat. I have to drive. I don't get to eat.
We'll park in the lot. We'll stop and eat.
Oh, perfect. We can enjoy the ambience of asphalt and exhaust.
Okay, then we go home. I promise I won't even touch my fries before we get home.
That's not out. I thought we wanted to get out.
Oh my God, we're out. Roll down your window.
Well, that won't help. No matter how much fresh air, we're still not out.
No, roll down the window so that you can order.
Oh.
Jed stops
Oh.
the car and rolls down the window. We'll get you go for a burger. I'll take your order.
You want to translate?
It's hilarious.
That was funny.
We're
That
not
was
out.
funny.
That concludes our performances. We could go right into conversations, but it's time for my Bassett to eat. So I got to run downstairs and feed her, and then I'll be right back. But you know, you can all talk about other things. I'll be right back.
Other things, other things, other things.
There are other things. There must be.
What are they?
They
What
must-
are
they
the
must
other things?
Does
it involve Stephen? Should we talk about him?
Oh, no.
No, he's probably still recording, so we can't talk about it.
Oh.
We're I did a play. I did one of Rex's plays in person. What was it last year, Rex?
Oh,
In Hollywood.
I'll just check the dates.
Can't
When was
remember.
it?
Or yeah, it was last year, wasn't it? And one of the people in the cast has applied for us to do it again in Hollywood for a short festival, and so that's coming up in
June.
middle of the year sometime. So I'm really looking
Yeah,
forward to doing that.
June.
It was a
Cool.
very jolly. What was it?
11th night.
11th
Yeah,
night.
it's a prequel to 12th Night.
Yeah.
That was in June 24th, 2023.
Oh wow, you got
The
it
reading.
tabulated, right? But that's going to be very exciting, I think. Again, to do that again. And
Sounds exciting.
what was I going to say?
It's at Hollywood Short and Sweet,
Yeah.
which is actually in Victory Theatre in Burbank.
Oh
So,
yes.
I don't know how
Yes.
many
Oh,
people
so in
are
a real
around.
theatre. Real theatre. How about that? So after all the COVID stuff, I mean, I haven't done any real theatre for a million years, but and I'm not, I hadn't been doing that sort of thing, but it did encourage me to start doing some open mics, and so I have been doing some open mic stuff, and that's been a revelation. It's completely because when I was acting before, it was long time in the past before I went into television as a producer, and but I was going to this open mic. I was doing comedy and music and all that sort of thing, and I did
Here he comes.
couple of pieces by
We need to stop talking about Stephen now. Oh no, look,
Oh.
he's always
I
come
did a
back.
couple of pieces by somebody, and then I thought, well, why don't I try and do some Shakespeare? And so I did some Shakespeare, and it went down so incredibly well. And then I did a couple of sonnets the next time, and people said, we want more, we want more. So I had to sit down and find another sonnet and do that. But it's fantastic how well Shakespeare happens in a mixed environment like that. Anyway, I'll stop.
Yeah,
was
because
fun.
nobody does it. That's because nobody does it, and it's
But
it's new. It's new for them.
if anybody here wants, it doesn't have to be original material. If anybody here has a scene from Shakespeare or other plays that they want to do, bring them in.
Yeah.
So our first one, marked for deletion. That it was just unsettling. The backstabbing.
In the workplace.
Yeah.
Love it.
And
Yeah.
and it sounded so familiar from when I used to work in those places.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, I'm a librarian and I've been through one
Oh.
of these restructurings 3 times,
Wow.
where they actually, invite you into the manager's office and say, your job has been disestablished. Here's another job that you can reapply for. And the only difference is that out of the 10 previous jobs, there are only now 7. So, you've got 10 people fighting for 7 jobs, and it's that sort of thing. And I've managed to survive, but a lot of people just hate the process. And,
You must be a very good librarian, Rex.
well, no, I'm just a pushover. I just let things flow. Anybody that's got principles would refuse to work with these folks.
I'm sure that's not the case.
The acting was so good. It was cool.
It
how
was.
there was the acting, the camaraderie and the kindness, and then you could see the face kind of shifts. It was really well done.
Yeah, with
Yes.
Michelle and Mark at the helm, and then Leslie coming in
Leslie
with
and
her big pile of notes there.
Great.
That was really good. Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and it's just so amusing.
Yeah.
Working off the back of what Susan just said, it's just so amusing because one minute you're pally, the next minute, oh, hang on a minute, the stakes are higher. Maybe I shouldn't be your pal. Maybe I should actually assert my authority and do something here. So yeah, that was really amusing.
Really well done.
And it read differently, like on the first reading or two, and then you suddenly see how much stress and how everybody's looking after themselves, and then who are they fighting for, on whose team. It really starts to shift, but it shifts with subtleties.
Yeah,
that made it all the more fun to work on. Even if I've never worked in a library, it was, if you've worked in an office situation or in any situation with other people and hierarchy, it was interesting. I know Mark worked in banks, and so I could ask him a little bit about that. I did look up forced redundancies. I thought that was an interesting term. How much did that happen in your...
Oh, there is. So generally, as a result of one of these restructurings, if you don't get a job, you are, invited to take redundancy. So the actual payouts can be quite large amounts, particularly if you've been working like in the organisation for 30 years, you get a substantial amount, but you can't go back to work for the organisation. So it basically destroys a lot of people's careers. They get a lump sum of money, which they can live on for a little while, but it's going to run out eventually.
That's it. It runs out. That's it.
The funny thing for me is you think about this type of environment, stockbrokers, lawyers, but librarians?
Yeah.
That's what I think our culture is so different than what obviously your structure is with libraries.
Well, actually, I think it's pretty universal, this sort of reviewing. What they call it is a fair process, you see. If there are only 7 jobs now, instead of giving them to the 7 best people, they fire or disestablish 10 jobs and say, you're all equal now and you can all apply for these jobs. So they think it's fair, but when you're putting people at the throats of somebody who you've been working with closely for a long, long time, it just gets really, really unpleasant.
And parks is so lowly in
Oh,
this.
that's just a fictional part.
Okay.
That's not,
Parks
that doesn't quite happen like that. That is just fun, having fun, me having fun.
I like that addition of the parks. They're getting, seem to get lower and lower, and you can do this and you can do that. And the subtleties of with Mark and Leslie and Michelle trying to be very cool and calm about it. Like, am I going to get quiet? Is it going to be me? I'm not going to do. And it was well written, well done, very funny.
Yeah.
And it can even just be related to human nature. So when you're having a conversation, you realize the person's dissing you or going to attack you, and there's a shift in how you respond. So it's interesting. It's great. Well done.
Yeah.
There was no anger or yelling or shouting. It was all very cold and calculated.
Yeah.
Bureaucracy.
Yeah, somebody said, yes, but libraries, would you expect it? I know the people down in my local library very well because I do events down there and things. And it's absolutely spot on. And what I was just thinking was that maybe it's different. It felt like it wasn't a commercial organization. I mean, we talk about stockbrokers and so on. There's a lot of money involved just in the business of the competition of the business. But this was a different sort of vibe, wasn't it? And it felt as if it were not a competitive organization, but they're making them. So that's what I felt. But it was more of a kind of institution in that sort of way. When I think there's just a different edge to it, probably. But I thought it just captured an energy which I have experienced very well.
Yeah, thank you. So, yeah, they're public servants, is what we call them.
Yeah.
Do you use this term, public servants? So, you know, you're supposed to be there for the customers, but in fact, it becomes very cutthroat when you're actually in the top. I mean, the lower down in, you know, the actual ordinary staff members, it's not so bad. But once you get up to the higher, you know, it's power basically. When anybody gets power, they change. So thank you, actors, for bringing those characters to life.
Well
That
done,
was
actors.
really,
Well done,
really
Rex.
enjoyable to watch.
It was our pleasure.
Thank you.
I want to say that it's a universal theme, and I think sometimes when you're saying the lower down on the rung, it's even more desperate because they really need to keep those jobs, and they're doing it because of, you know, their family members or feeding mouths. I mean, in the piece, it's talking about, you know, I have a mouth to feed, and so well, I'm protecting my whole team,
Right.
and I think personalities change. I don't care, you know, if it's a library or you know, Wall Street. I think, you know, you see what the priorities are for these people, and then people are people, human beings, you know. And if you think your job's going to get cut, your title's going to get cut, you know, you can be working anywhere. And my character even says it. They're putting us at each other's throats, you know. And the situation was pitting us at each other, where that's the whole change of the tone of the piece changes, because in the beginning we're all on the same team, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, we're gonna eliminate these jobs, and all of a sudden there isn't a team, and it's ready for, you know, their own spot, you know. So it changes, and you just see how human beings are with each other when they feel like their identity, because in this case, you know, they're identifying with their job. They're not seeing, I'm worthy, whether I'm working in the park or I'm working at the library or I'm working, you know, as a manager or a cataloger. It's like people, and we do this as human beings. We identify with our job, and if we think our identification is going to be shaken, we cling to that, and we become desperate, and we'll do whatever it takes to hang on to that. So
Right, it's definitely a threat.
yeah. It's the beauty of the piece to just show the human condition and where we put our priorities and our identities and our self-worth. And, you know, one minute you might be my friend or my colleague, but I'm willing to throw you over in a nanosecond if it means that I can get the job and the money and the title and the whatever, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
move on to Polished Desire. Number
Yes,
7 out
well
of
done, Susan. Well done, Paul. I know I wrote it, but I really enjoyed watching them. And I was, as Bernard was with the despair and the shock hitting him, I was getting closer and closer to my screen. I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Bernard, but you're not getting anything." And Dorothea's just carrying on. She just wants to get on with her job. Please let her get on with her job. This is play number 7 of 365. And this is one in the beginning, when I was writing it, I was like, this has got Me Too all over it. I have to step back. So then I thought, okay, let's do this. 19th century. He's an estate manager. She's the housekeeper. So there's a hierarchy already. Back in the days, he's an estate manager. He has all the power, the vigor. And, you know, he even has that line where he says he can go into any room in the manor. Scary stuff. And where Dorothea had to push that chair against the door to stop him from coming in. And if I were to do it as present day, I mean, that is huge. Sleazebag. But back in the day, this is something that a lot of women tolerated, especially if you wanted to keep your job, and especially as Dorothea shared a part of her life, why she's there at the manor. And I thought that would work, and it worked well. And it went from, with Bernard's character, he was very authoritative. You made me wait 3 minutes. And I thought, yeah, who cares? It's just 3 minutes, you know? But you made me wait 3 minutes. He's so desperate to see her, to get her on her own. He has to make up this story about the plates, which he stole himself, so that he could get her on her own. But he says everything, but I love you. And I thought, I won't put that in, because I think it works quite well with his despair and the shock. Oh, this changes everything. And so many little lines he says, and all he wants to really say, subtext, I want you. But he can't say it because of who he is. So I don't know how the actors felt. I mean, I could talk about it all day.
Well, I loved, we're speaking about the last play. I love that he's threatening me that I might lose my job. And then I blackmail him basically to get a raise. So I love the twitch. And if he had said, I love you, forget it. What? You know, so I thought it was really fun how it was written. I enjoyed it. It was great, Tasman.
You were great. You were great, Paul. Yeah, you were absolutely.
Yeah, they're really he's a conflicted person.
And when Susan arrived on the scene, you said it changed everything, and then you said, for me. And I like that part.
But I the way this ended brings up a question for me, because it came up. I was working on another script with another person, and her ideal of how the script should end was the exact opposite of the way I thought it should end. And so to bring in Rex also is, when you're writing, do you want a happy ending?
No.
Or do you want an ending that, you know, doesn't end happy all the time, every time?
This is such an interesting question, because I've had more than one discussion about this. And I've always, with Polished Desire, let's use that as an example, I think when it's an unhappy ending, I think it makes people think more about the piece. When you leave that theater, if it were in person, if you've seen this piece and it ends in this way, when will you get it, Dorothea? When will you get it? He's pouring his heart out.
Exactly.
And then it finishes, you leave and you think, oh my God, but that's not how it's supposed to end. Maybe it should have ended like this, as you are saying, Stephen. So I've written other plays where people have said, no, 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 that's no way, that is not the ending. They should get together, they should do X, Y, Z. And I said, I am satisfied that
No, you're right. It shouldn't be
ending
predictable.
shakes you.
It's not worth watching if you can predict what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure they're going to get together. Okay.
Yeah, the fairy
Whereas-
tale ending.
Keeps you thinking. Whoa, that was a surprise. Oh, I think this.
Because
Makes it-
when Paul, you're right. I agree with you, Chuck. Absolutely. Because when Paul says, when will you get it, Dorothea? When will you get it? And the audience has got it, but not Dorothea.
Right. Or Dorothea got it
Yes, that's what I thought. She got it.
and she used it to get a raise.
Yes.
Oh, do you think
Sneaky,
that?
sneaky, Susan, sneaky.
I never thought about that. I thought
Yeah,
I agree with Stephen.
And
Yes,
that
but-
happens
oh,
with,
what could you be
with
thinking about?
sorry, that happens with women a lot, that you ignore it. You don't want to even react to it because you're not interested. So maybe that was part of it too, Tasman. Who knows?
Oh, like that. I was just, too busy with Bernard that I really forgot about those vibes of Dorothea.
Yeah, to me, Dorothea was like 2 miles ahead of him. She knew what was coming down and she just like didn't, could see it, didn't want it. And he could not possibly believe that it could be that she didn't want him.
Yeah.
It had to be that she didn't get it because the alternative would be rejection. So that's how I interpreted the ending anyway.
Interesting.
Ego crushing.
I never felt that Bernard was in control of anything, actually.
That is a good take.
Hapless guy.
I mean, he's kind of got a bark about him that I don't think he really believed that he was in control of the situation.
Well, he might have been until Dorothea showed up because you said everything changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true.
How about for you, Rex?
Well, for this play, I actually thought Dorothea must have known because of what happened that night with him trying to get into the room. Why else was he trying to get into her room?
Yeah.
That
She
is
must have
true.
known.
but
A
she's-
woman, a woman senses these things, I'm sure. And I like the idea that she knew all along what he's up to, but she's not going to give him the chance to follow through in any way.
Right.
Gives her power.
Still
Yeah,
not
I think you're right.
Hollywood romantic endings, still not the Hollywood happy romantic ending, even if
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, I don't think the play needs this play needs it. But take some of my plays, like the one I presented today. It's happy for two of the characters, but not for one of them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
comedies often have like a happy ending for the main character.
So then I'll get you guys' opinion on this play that I'm working with this other person. It's about 3 people who have met each other in college, 2 males, 1 female. One is Muslim male, one is a Jewish male. The female is Buddhist.
Oh, wow.
And after October 7th, the relationship between the 2 males changed. And the woman sees this and separately invites each one of them without telling the other one that the other one is coming to her family's home to celebrate the holidays. So there's going to be all this back and forth between, the Jewish person and the Muslim person and this Buddhist woman trying to bring them back together to remember their friendship. So I said, when it ends, they should go their separate ways, that they don't reconcile. They can't really accept the difference. She wants them to say, oh, I see how things are for you. I understand, and we'll be friends again. And to me, it can't end that way. It's got to be the opposite way.
Yes, that's a Hollywood ending. Oh, everything's fine.
Yeah.
It's too simple.
Yeah.
So what's the genre of the play, Stephen? So is it like drama?
Sorry, everybody, I gotta get going. And
Take care.
Nice
Another
to see
reading.
you.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you for
Well
everything.
done. Bye. 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 Bye.
Bye.
You.
So it's pretty serious drama, is it?
But it's not a comedy, it's not a romance, it's a drama.
Yeah, in that case, I think your original ending is fine for that. It don't, but does the like the plot, if there is one, have a resolution at the end? It doesn't mean that they agree with each other, but is the storyline, does it like come to a satisfying, dramatic ending for you as the writer? Do you feel that you've left them in a
Right.
good place?
For me, the issues are reflecting what's going on today, and they are way too complicated for them to be resolved now. And that it should reflect that. And for me, and if you're watching this, you're thinking as an audience, they were good friends before. I want them to be good friends again. And then when you find out they're not, it's sort of like, okay, maybe we really need to think about this and decide if we want to continue our lives the way it's going now. Because of what's happening, two friends can't be friends again. There's something wrong here. Maybe something needs to change. But it doesn't change in the script. It shows that it hasn't. It should, and maybe it will, but it hasn't.
I think it depends on your intention. And again, your intention, because you can't control how the audience is going to feel, but what's your intention for how you want the audience to feel? I mean, I'm a hopeless romantic all the time, but I love that this particular piece didn't have a happy ending or romantic ending with in Tasman's piece. And the piece that you're talking about sounds like it is too complicated to have a happy ending in that short amount of time. I mean, I don't know if it's a full length or not, but maybe a full length, you can see the whole scope of the friendships and relationships pan out. But if it's something shorter than that, you kind of have to give a slice of life, a snapshot for the audience to see. And sometimes it's more interesting for the audience when it's not a happy ending, because then they start thinking differently, and then the conversations happen, after somebody sees a movie or a play or something where it's not such an ending with a tied up in a bow or something like that. That's where the interesting conversations happen. Now, if it's like a Disney feel-good movie and you want everybody to go out feeling happy and singing a little tune, that's different too, because that's the intention Disney has for people to go out and feel good. And then you can talk about it too, but there's usually less of a conversation with a feel-good movie than something that has serious undertones and doesn't wrap up in a neat little bow. So maybe think, what's the intention of the piece, and then you'll have your ending.
Well, I think that's what the other writer and I have to work out. And for me, the intention of the piece is to show how things are screwed up and how things could get worse if we don't start thinking differently. It's not a kumbaya moment. It's sort of, it's a tragic moment. These two people have gotten to a point where they cannot reconcile because of the way things are going on today.
Who initiated the project, Stephen?
Well, I don't know if I've mentioned it here, but I've had some, I wouldn't call it writer's block. It's more like writer's prevention. Since October 7th, I felt that as a writer, that my writing should have a purpose, and that it should be really about something, really about an issue. And I wanted to write something that has to deal with what's going on, since the Gaza incident. And I didn't know, which way to go, because I'm neither Jewish or Muslim. So it's kind of hard to put myself into, that position, or to write something that has any kind of honesty to it, because I'm not really, except for the fact that my daughter is now living in Israel, I don't really have a connection with what's going on, except for thinking, as you know, we're all humans. I'm a human, and what's going on is not right. So I got contacted by this person that I had met in LA. We actually took a screenwriting class together, and we've been in contact since then. And she told me she wanted to write a holiday movie, and she wanted it to be about three friends who were having issues. You know, they were starting to drift apart, and she wanted to bring them back for the holiday. And then I mentioned, you know, my ideals about what's going on now and the fact that the issues that have come up these days have a tendency to break people apart. And so she thought it would be a good idea to kind of combine her ideal and this ideal and try and work those issues into the script. And so that's where we got. Except she wants the happy ending and I don't want the happy ending. So
Is there a possibility of doing two versions, one draft with her preference and one draft with your preference?
it is possible, and I said, kind of as a compromise, I said that it would end with the two males going their separate ways, but maybe each one of them contacting the girl again and saying, you know, maybe we should like try this again after a year or something like that, or it would be nice to get together again next year and see how things are, to show that, you know, maybe there's a possibility that both of them will think about it. But then I thought the Jewish guy I was going to have him end by leaving and saying, well, I've decided to drop out of college. I'm going to join the IDF. And we know he's going in that direction. And things might change after, you know, a year, but I'm willing to leave it open, but I don't want it to be resolved.
It is a tough one, but I think having a happy ending, I don't know. I don't know how that would work out.
I think there's two issues that you're dealing with, Stephen. One issue is just the script, and the other issue is the collaboration. You see, for the collaboration, if you don't see eye to eye, what usually happens is people go their separate ways.
Right.
If there's disagreement over a script, there's usually compromise. So I think those are the choices you have. You can either decide, oh, well, I feel so strongly about this that, you know, I'll move on to another project, or I'll take these characters that I've done or the dialogue that I've created and create my play, and she can do the same with hers. That's one option.
Sure.
Because it doesn't seem as though you want to, or even should be inclined to back down on your stance. And it does seem like they're two diametrically opposed visions. I think what they call it like artistic differences.
Right.
It's what you're facing.
Yeah.
I suppose you should write your own version and the other person should write their own version, and then you swap. And then see what they're thinking,
And
see how it works out.
we're pretty much on the page up to the ending.
Well, why don't you write your version of the ending and she writes hers, and then you just, you know, without any constraints, you write exactly what you want the ending to be, and she writes exactly what the ending, and then send both scripts out to some theatres and get some feedback. That's one way of doing it.
Yeah.
We can do it here and we'll vote on it for you.
Yeah, you could do that.
It will be a full-length piece, though.
Oh, full length, okay.
Oh, okay.
You can bring in 10 minutes at a time, 15 minutes at a time. Like we've done before. It might take a little bit of time,
Yeah.
but
4 months later.
You know,
I
Stephen,
did that a couple of times at the Culver City group when we were performing live. That's how I developed a couple of full-length pieces, was bringing them in.
Stephen, ATC Studios in New Jersey is always looking for full-length scripts, and they'll put it on for you on Zoom.
Oh,
They don't want to do shorts, they just want to do full length.
it's called what?
ATC Studios in Clifton, New Jersey,
And they run a virtual,
for a long time, yeah.
okay.
Kathleen Calais is I'll DM you her email.
Okay. Alright. Gotta write it first. So the last one is Hilrokum Arner.
It was hilarious. Very good.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. Hilarious.
Okay.
It's just
I like
simple
the-
everyday
yeah.
job.
Yeah.
Simple thing.
I was laughing out loud.
Getting irritable. Hey, it was a huge car as well. I was like, I bet you could get like 100 people in that car. And I love the voice, Carol.
Yeah.
It was all muffled up and he was like, care to translate? And I was like, I was
did
thinking
too.
exactly the same thing. I was like, we need a translator. I have no idea what she said.
Timing
That was one of my favorite parts of the whole thing.
It's so
So
funny.
relatable.
So funny.
right.
Yeah.
So relatable.
Yeah, because I hate drive-ins, drive-throughs. That's one of the main reasons, is trying to hear what they're saying and trying to talk to them. And when we were in LA during COVID, Laura and I actually decided we needed to get out, and the only restaurant we'd go to was a drive-through. And we found this one place that was still allowing, they were doing drive-throughs, and they got our order wrong.
I've never been, okay, this is confession. I've never really been to a drive-through.
Oh my God.
Well, I live a sheltered life. There you go. But I've never felt compelled to go there. I have no idea why. I just never have.
And
But when I watched this scene, I was like, oh, wow. So much irritation
Yeah.
over a little meal.
Yeah.
And you're not
Love
alone,
that
Tasman. I've
you-
never used one either. I mean, I've passed them, but I've never actually driven in my car and rolled the window down and said and placed my order. I've
No,
never
I've
done
never done that.
You certainly don't live in the United States, do you?
that. We do have them. We do have them, but I just walk
we
to where I want to.
Yeah,
Henry,
don't have
you,
them in
other
abundance
overseas,
like we do.
Actor, have you been to a drive-through, Henry?
What's that?
I said you're our other overseas participant. Have you been to a drive-through, or is that the United States
I
of
have.
America thing?
Yeah, well, I live in LA, but
You would
I have been 3 or 4 times with somebody else. But
Okay.
He's
it's
dragged
not
there.
really.
wow, 3 or 4 times. I feel so left out.
I feel so unhealthy. I mean, as a mom, and I had a job, and I had 2 kids, and they had to go to dance and soccer, and man, we did a fair amount. I'm sorry, should I say this?
No, not at all.
that's
Never
right.
apologize. Never apologize. I
Do-
just
do you
haven't
know-
had much experience.
Well, the
Do you know one of the things about American culture that surprised me when I first went to LA? So we went on one of these tours of like the Hollywood homes and all that. And we went to this place called Bel Air, which obviously has some wonderful mansions,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
there were no sidewalks. Everybody drives.
right.
Yeah,
Everything's
you gotta
for the
have a car.
cars.
Yeah, you gotta have a
It's
car.
all car.
Oh, but it's still very nice.
Should we challenge Tasman and Rex, because we have another month before we see you again?
Yes,
Go experience a drive-through before March.
and give us a full report.
I'm
And
not too
report back.
excited about that.
There's John Silver's and somewheres in London that you can drive through.
I'm not too. No, I can't. I can't promise anything. I'll leave it at that.
No, No pressure. We love you anyway. It's all good.
Yes.
Well, husband,
But your scene was great. Sorry, coming back to
Yeah.
point. Yes, your scene was great. It was just so simple, very humorous. We got the gist of it, and it ended well. So there you go. It worked. It worked.
Definitely.
good.
In-N-Out Burger has it down to
Down to a side.
Ooh.
Yes, but you can't get an In-N-Out burger east of the Rockies.
That's true. That is true. You have to get Whataburger.
Okay.
What a burger.
Yeah, Whataburger is east of the Rockies, and In-N-Out Burger is west of the Rockies. That's
Best burger, I must say. By the way, I've never had a burger. I'm not a burger person. Anyway, so the best burger must be. Do you remember the scene with Steve Martin where he was learning the American accent? And I would like to order a hamburger. You remember that scene? It was so hilarious.
What movie
Funny, you've got to see it if you haven't seen it already.
is that in?
I'm sorry?
What movie is that?
Oh my God. Is it the Pink Panther?
Yes.
Oh, I was trying to think what movie was Steve Martin not playing an American?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the is it elocutioner? He went for elocution lessons, and the tutor was getting so angry with him because he just wasn't getting it. And she would say, I. No, and then she broke it down to one word at a time, and she was like, I, and he would say, I would like a hamburger. Such a good clip. You've got to see it. It's on YouTube.
Okay.
He's so brilliant. But yes, very good.
My favorite Peter Sellers line from Panther is he's in a lobby of a hotel.
Yeah.
Old man there and a dog.
Yep. Yeah.
Pet the dog, and he says, "Did your dog bite?" And the guy says, "No." So Peter Sellers goes to pet the dog. The dog bites him. Peter Sellers goes, "I thought your dog did not bite." And the guy says, "That's not my dog."
That's my favorite too. I think was that Shot in the Dark? Or was that Pink? I thought it was Shot in the Dark.
Not sure. I'm not
That
sure.
was my favorite.
Is that when he says, "Do you have a room? Hotel room?"
Yeah, no, I love Steve Martin, but Peter Sellers was just
So good.
Oh, yeah.
So good. When he did that gymnast thing, do you remember that scene? Oh my God, it's so funny. It's so funny. And you just think, what the hell are you doing? It's an investigation. Get off. No, it's the banister, I think he is holding.
Yeah.
And he's swinging and swinging. And then instead of using, like a sane person, the steps to go down, he just swings and drops.
One of my favorite scenes from the Pink Panther is when he's trying to seduce Elkie Summers. Does anybody remember that?
Oh, I can't remember that. Why can't I remember that?
He has her in bed and it's not going well.
I think I vaguely recall that. I'm gonna have to look
Can't
that
get
up.
off his coat or something. He gets tangled in his coat or I can't remember the scene, but it's funny.
Oh my God, hilarious. Hilarious. Oh, you could laugh all day with those clips, I tell you.
Now I want to see the Pink Panther films now.
Same. Oh my God, same. And just laugh out loud. Laugh out loud. No, very good.
So our next meeting is March 20th.
24th.
Yeah. I was almost going to break a rule today, but I'm glad we didn't have to do that.
What was that?
That a writer can't submit more than one piece. And that's why I put the message out there of any actors who still, want a part, because if a lot of actors.
Oh, they can't submit more than one piece. Is that what you just said?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Right.
But today I was thinking if there were more performers who wanted to perform, we only had 3 pieces, then I was going to ask Rex or Tasman, if you had a second one that you might want to throw up there just to see, but we didn't.
Oh, yeah, I suppose. Yeah, there's.
I have a question about the link. Is that going to change again, or is the one that we got today going to be good for next month?
The only thing that changes on it is the day.
Well, this one I had before that always worked didn't work this time, and then you sent the one which did work.
Huh. Okay.
I couldn't get in today either at first.
You
So-
give me 5 minutes to get in.
So I always attach it to the top of the discussion page.
It wasn't there.
Oh, I found
yeah.
it. Okay.
I used the one that when, Carol, you said, is this the right one? I
Yeah, that's
clicked
the
on
one
that
I
one and
couldn't
got in,
use.
and it might have been my fault, that Stephen was helping me, the computer dummy, to try to get on, to get the script in.
Maybe you just didn't see it. Yeah, see us getting on.
Oh,
So, did you get in?
I got in and took up Stephen's time trying to
That's
get
probably what
set.
it was.
But
Yeah.
I also sent him the link in the direct message so that just,
No, I can't use the same link, today's link for March. You'll have to send a new one.
Well,
Post a new one.
I always post a new one at the top of the page, particularly for new people or people who haven't come in for a while. But basically, it's the same link. The only thing I change is the day.
Okay.
So it should work.
I bet it worked. I bet it was just that he didn't see us coming in. That's all. So
No, that's good.
Yeah. Well,
thanks, everybody. You all are great.
Thank you. Thank you,
Hopefully-
Paul. Thank you, Susan. You were brilliant.
Bravo. Oh
You
my
were brilliant.
Thank
Love
you,
the
Jasmine.
discussion.
Thank
Great
you.
job, everyone.
Love
I
the
was just
things
gonna
that I
say,
don't even
hopefully more
get.
people will come in March because the group has what, 500 or 600 members?
yes.
610 members.
And I love
saw that.
seeing all of your faces over and over again, but
Where are those other
Yeah.
creatives?
And I
Can
had a couple of
can I-
people who contacted me like last week, said they wanted to get in. I added them to the group, told them how to get in. They didn't show up.
Thank you, Henry, again for giving me the backdrop there, so I'm in the same car. I couldn't
It's
tell if I
a
was looking the
huge
right way or not.
car.
That looked great.
It did.
that was fabulous. I had the driver's seat and
That was so cool. That was
I thought I
so
was
good.
looking the right way.
Whose trade did I use that for before? Was that you, Rex, or was it yours, Stephen?
What was the question?
Oh no, it was somebody else. It was a background we used. It was just a one-man thing with a man talking to his the computer in the car,
Oh,
having an argument with. But I was just trying to think what it was. But it was for a submission for a festival. Yes, which we.
Yeah, I've written one that takes place in a car, but we've never used it on here at LA.
Well, of course, with that one, it was only really meant for one person. So I just flipped it today, and which is why I didn't have time to kind of
It was a big
universe out of the middle of it.
fabulous.
Yeah, good idea. It
Okay,
worked.
all
I'll
right.
see you folks.
Good to see you all.
Bye, Rex.
Take
Bye,
care.
Bye,
everyone.
Rex.
Everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you, Stephen.
Stephen, thank you for the opportunity. You're brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stephen, for your patience and help me straighten it out.
Thanks for
Get it.
continuing.
Yeah,
job.
Leslie,
Thank you, Stephen.
You're welcome.
I'll be
Bye,
in New York
everyone.
again, April 5th.
Bye, Paul.
Okay, let's
Bye.
hope it works this time. Stay healthy.